Good morning. It is Thursday, the 16th of April, 2020. I'm Paula Ann Porter-Jones, and these are the latest stories from the Radio Jamaica News Centre. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has revealed that the United States has blocked exports of critical supplies for Jamaica's Covid-19 response. He made the revelation last evening in the House of Representatives. Dr. Tufton told the House that the ministry is expecting 20,000 test kits by the end of this week. However, he disclosed the ministry experienced difficulties in procuring the items.
We had some delays because we had some supplies coming out of a particular country, and those supplies were blocked for the particular country and by the country. The US, of course. You've heard the laws by the position thing. They have acted in their interest. We have to act in our interest. So in the meantime, we have had to recalibrate our strategy in order to get from other sources, and that led to some delays.
Other countries have also complained about their supplies being hijacked by the United States. In the meantime, Dr. Tufton says there have been some delays in getting protective gear and other equipment because of shipping problems.
We have lost some items, frankly speaking, because we have had situations where, having discovered that the items were available in other jurisdictions, we have not been able to access those items. And then also, Mr. Speaker, we have had situations where we have accessed the items, offered to pay to source, but there is no logistics arrangement. In other words, the logistics mode of moving the items from where they are to us have been very difficult.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton. Amid a sharp rise in cases of the coronavirus in Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced there will be a ramping up of testing for the highly contagious illness. Addressing the House of Representatives last night, Mr. Holness said Jamaica is the third lowest in terms of testing in the region. He said there will be increased effort to determine if the number of coronavirus cases is low compared to other countries in the region because of inadequate testing.
With an epidemic, you don't want to be proven wrong by the discovery down the road of the cases you didn't know. So in an epidemic, you don't want to hide anything. You want to go and dig it up and find it. You want to go and test and find it. And that is what I'm saying we are going to do.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Jamaica yesterday recorded 20 more cases of the coronavirus, pushing the total to 125. Additional time has been granted for people in St. Catherine to do shopping during the lockdown. The original period was 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It will now end at 8 p.m. Persons over 85, pregnant or disabled will get to shop from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Persons whose surname begins with the letters A to H will get to shop from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., while those whose surnames begin with the letters I to P will be allowed to shop from 1:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Persons with surnames beginning with Q to Z can shop between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Supermarkets and other shopping areas can open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. The opening days remain Wednesday and Saturday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the revised schedule is in response to complaints from members of the public.
We have seen the videos of the crowding taking place in Portmore in particular, and so what we have done is to extend the period of time for people to be able to get their groceries. You know, the difficulty with putting in place such a lockdown, especially for Portmore, is the size of the population and the frequency of restocking, meaning the frequency that people have to go to shops and pharmacies and supermarkets. So it does pose some logistics which will require us to be a little bit more flexible.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, and let me read this again. Persons over 65, pregnant or disabled, will get to shop from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Once again, that's persons over 65, pregnant or disabled, will get to shop from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Meanwhile, the police have accepted that they faced serious challenges in managing the St. Catherine lockdown yesterday, but have promised to plug all the gaps for Saturday, which is the next day movement will be allowed for shopping. There were traffic snarls and long lines at food stores in Portmore yesterday as residents attempted to stock up for the 7-day lockdown. The police, who were also at exit points to prevent unauthorized persons from leaving the parish, faced significant challenges in carrying out this task. This caused traffic to be backed up for hours in some places. Commanding Officer for Area 5 Police, Assistant Commissioner Gary Griffith, says plans for Saturday are already being made, so the scenario will not be repeated. The Court Administration Division says the St. Catherine Parish Council will remain closed until the 7-day lockdown ends on April 22. The agency says during the closure there will be a suspension of bail conditions for persons who report to police stations in St. Catherine, as well as those who reside outside the parish. Habeas corpus and bail applications will be transferred to the Supreme Court. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, says residents of St. Catherine planning to travel on its buses to get essential supplies during the lockdown will have to provide identification. This follows reports that hours after the lockdown took effect yesterday, persons tried to leave St. Catherine via JUTC buses. JUTC Corporate Communications Manager Cecil Tom says persons will only be allowed on buses during the stipulated time announced by the Prime Minister. Two representatives of the food distribution industry are pointing out ways in which the lockdown of St. Catherine can have more positive results. Chairman of Wysinco Group, William Mafood, and Managing Director of Caribbean Foods, Christopher Ramson, conclude that the COVID-19 fight requires more effort from some businesses as well as sacrifice from some individuals. Prime Minister Andrew Holness had suggested that, depending on the outcome, the 7-day lockdown may be extended. Speaking yesterday on Beyond the Headlines, Mr. Ramson said if there is an extension, some persons will have to take the messages about COVID-19 more seriously and incorporate them into their family life. In the meantime, Mr. Mafood is suggesting that members of the business community should make the sacrifice to invest in more protection and prevention for the greater good of the country.
I think if companies have that sort of approach, and I mean, I know it's going to be more expensive, and you have reduced business in many cases. But at the end of the day, we're going to come through this, and when we come through it in whatever time frame, we just need to make sure that the health of the nation and the health of our communities is paramount.
Chairman of Wysinco Group, William Mafood. CARICOM leaders yesterday considered proposals for a common public health and border policy as they seek ways to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Barbados Prime Minister and CARICOM Chairman Mia Mottley gave no in-depth details of the meeting that was held virtually and came after regional governments implemented initiatives including lockdown of their borders, curfews, and social distancing. In a message posted on her Facebook page, Ms. Mottley said the leaders discussed the regional response to COVID-19 and received an update from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, as well as an economic analysis of the impact of the virus on regional economies. Ms. Mottley's brief statement gave no indication whether the CARICOM Secretariat will issue a comprehensive statement on the special summit. U.S. President Donald Trump says his government is trying to determine whether the coronavirus emanated from a lab in Wuhan, China, and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the Chinese authorities need to come clean on what they know. The source of the virus remains a mystery. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mike Milley, earlier this week said U.S. intelligence indicates that the coronavirus likely occurred naturally, as opposed to being created in a laboratory in China, but there is no certainty either way. Fox News yesterday reported that the virus originated in a Wuhan laboratory, not as a bioweapon, but as part of China's effort to demonstrate that its efforts to identify and combat viruses are equal to or greater than the capabilities of the United States. And now to end this newscast, the main points. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton reveals that the U.S. has blocked exports of critical supplies for Jamaica's COVID-19 response. Prime Minister announces ramping up of testing for COVID-19. Police promise to plug gaps to ensure St. Catherine lockdown measures are effective. JUTC warns that St. Catherine residents planning to travel on its buses to get essential supplies during lockdown will have to provide identification. And that's the 6 o'clock news. Join us for more at 7. It's now 13 minutes after 6.
Welcome to Headline Sports, bringing you the top sports stories this morning.